Good evening, everyone. I hope that every Ubrican is here tonight. We are waiting for you to tonight. We are very excited. We launch Ubricoin. If you're online, first of all, let us look who is online here. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, let's say I'm online and I can see and can hear. So we can see, let's say, participating. Hello? Yeah, I'm trying to work out with my headphones. It's gonna be okay. So if you're online now, just let us know, and we can get going. Okay. So I'm looking at our system. Okay, that's my microphone touching the shot. So I'm looking at that's my so we're waiting. We're gonna hold in a few minutes to see who comes in. We shall play music because right now we have just me. Oh, but even as we discuss these things, I think what the best um, way use of time is about explaining Ubrica project. Tonight we are very excited because it is the birthday of Ubricoin, and as the birthday of Ubricoin, we know that we're going to bring to life new technology that will help people in Africa to gain access to good health. Many of you have asked, what is Ubricoin? Ubricoin is a cryptocurrency built on Ethereum blockchain. And as we speak, what we need to show you is how this works and how you participate in Ubricoin. We want to be very brief tonight or today so that we have you going. We to launch a cryptocurrency, we have to go through multiple stages. Stage one is what we call a private event. And June 1, let's say in a few hours, like 2 hours or so, we shall have the onset of the private sale. And when the private sale begins, it goes on, going on to a pre-sale. Then from the pre-sale, it goes on to a private to a crowd sale, and eventually we have an ICO. So tonight we want to just celebrate this moment, and if we wanted to set up this action so that if there's anyone with questions, we can begin addressing them and answering them today. But we also want to let you know that we shall be together every day of the week at 2 p.m. East African Standard Time to explain to you what, how to explain to you what is happening and to answer the questions that may be arising. Yeah. So tonight we're hoping that we can get joined by several people. I see there are 3 people watching, and if you're watching, you can identify yourself. Type something on the chat room. We on the right side of the document we have the chart, and just identify yourself. Say hi if you are on uh, the YouTube channel. I can see we have 4 people watching now. That's probably including myself. And we're here at Ubricoin headquarters in Nairobi. It is a very beautiful evening. It is not very wet. It's not raining anymore. Leila Kwabi, you can see you later. Hi Leila. So we say hi Leila. Welcome to yeah. And if we have anyone else, we see that we have 4 people watching now. Hmm. Who else is online? Who are the other people? It's important that you identify yourself so that we can have a conversation going. Feel free to type questions on the chat side, the right side of, and lubricants. We are doing this tonight to become a form of illustration of how we shall use YouTube, our YouTube channel, to communicate with you on a regular basis. Let's say daily basis about our cryptocurrency, about Ubricoin itself. Okay, so we're waiting to see more people joining in. But even as we wait, we will discuss a lot more about what's Ubricoin and how does it work and why we are creating Ubricoin. And to do that, for tonight, it would be a good day to go through the white paper in some brief sections, maybe the introduction of the white paper of Ubricoin. And as you come in, I can see some people are coming in now. And the goal of this is to introduce people. We have 2 hours here until midnight. We have to continue going on and waiting for people. If you know people who are not online, another message to the group. It seems to me that something did not happen here, which is we are offline and we sent an email and it never went through. So what we need to do is just fire up the phone so that the message can come through. I wonder how Leila managed to get in to this one. She went to get registered. You click the channel. Yeah, we have Brother Joke as well. We have Kara Kanyeve. That's awesome. Sing you loud and clear, Captain. Hey, we have the crown of the king. Yeah. So we let's keep bringing people online so we can know what's happening. But as we continue doing this, the first thing we shall do is to look for Ubricoin white paper, the version 5.24. And what this all means. As as we're working on this and waiting for people, it's good to explain what Ubricoin is all about. Ubricoin is a blockchain technology for global health designed to ensure global health access for you and your loved ones. And if you're hearing well, loud and clear, please say yes. We want to see whether our audio is coming through okay. Can you hear? Peter Kabi is there, ICT team online. If you all can hear very well, say, oh yeah. Very good. And so let's go back to a discussion about what is Ubricoin. And we had said that Ubricoin is a blockchain technology, which it's over here. Ubricoin is a blockchain technology we want to use for ensuring a universal access for you, universal health access for you and your loved ones. We know that the government of Kenya and even the World Health Organization and many governments have addressed this question. We believe very strongly that to produce universal access to health, we have to think very deeply about money. It's not possible to provide universal access of health to people without money. That's what we're talking about. We're saying that how do we create money for everyone in the world so that you get sick, you go to the hospital, you get treated. We have developed Ubricoin on blockchain to serve as a platform for devoted to improving quality of health for you and everyone in the world. We believe that Ubricoin will help to achieve global health. We will use Ubricoin to develop global health industry and create market intelligence through a cryptocurrency reward system that will positive contribution to health improvement around the world. What we are saying is that we are capable today of using a smart review system to reward consumers for positive health behavior, and educators at all levels of education, including research and practitioners at all levels, will also receive rewards for excellence, quality of work, and positive contribution to society. And we believe in a future where everyone has access to the best health products and services. We also believe in great health that is easily accessible and affordable to everyone. We believe in a future of universal health access. Universal come up, particularly here in Kenya. It turns out that universal health access is the fourth pillar for Jubilee governments, that Kenyan political system government, to their what's called 5-year plan. We expect that Ubricoin, that's our expectation as Ubricans. We expect that Ubricoin will improve health related quality of life and quality adjusted life years. These two things, the quality of life and quality adjusted life years, determine the outcomes of life. And in addition, we believe that Ubricoin will reduce the enormous burden of disease, particularly in the developing world, and also eliminate years of and in order for us to know what to do about these things, we know that Ubricoin is uh, built on blockchain. And why do we need a blockchain? Because blockchain is a new technology that helps us to establish trust on sensors of peers. The trust in traditional system was established through third parties. Now, today we can say that blockchain is run on trustless networks of peers. That this is between you and me and all Ubricans working together. Or if let's say the network of peers is the network of Ubricans, then the network of Ubricans are responsible for verifying transactions, anything that happens. We validate trusted transactions um, through decentralized networks among peers. Now, if we have Ubricans living in Kenya, others are living in Uganda, others are in other countries of the world, they're in Tanzania, others are in South Africa, then there are those in Latin American continent, in Brazil, in Peru. Then we have Ubricans in United States, the others in Canada, in European countries. They are distributed everywhere in the world. And it is among the peers network that with each transaction being publicly announced at each node. So, and that way, the blockchain becomes a trustworthy because the trust is established among friends. It is not established through a third party who is a unfriendly third party, let's say, like a central government or let's say a third party organization. Yeah. Why do we want to have blockchain in our business? In fact, many people, many Kenyans have asked us why we are using blockchain to do the Ubrica project, to fund the Ubrica project, instead of going through traditional financing mechanism. We use blockchain to facilitate village level commerce. We know that in African countries, more than 99% of village level commerce never sees the light of day. A lot of produce, whether produce in the farms, let's say farm produce, goes to waste. The commerce is not establishable. Either there are too many middlemen who come to collect farm produce at that cheap price, or no one comes to collect the produce at all. So post harvest waste in Africa, say in my own village, goes to close to 90% post-harvest waste. Blockchain is able to solve or even get rid of post-harvest waste in the villages in Africa. And if we can reach people in the villages, like we were talking about village level commerce, and put them on the blockchain, then it means that they're going to be able to sell what they produce. Now, we have created a online market system or e-commerce platform, which is known as Soko Janja, whose job in itself is to promote village level commerce. And we found out that working with the traditional e-commerce platforms is not efficient, that we have to use blockchain to establish significant level of trust using cryptocurrency, that's Ubricoin, at the point of payment to reduce friction in of currency in the trade and to facilitate real-time transfer of cash. It means that someone in an African village can and shall be able to sell whatever they produce in real time without friction. When we talk about friction, we mean how many middlemen are taking the money. In this case, oh, Marv, in this case, there are no middlemen. There is no middleman to take the money in between because, first of all, every person in the village will get a blockchain address. Okay, just like every person can get a telephone number, and when you have a telephone number, then you can call whoever you want to call in the world. Similarly, everyone in the world, everyone in a village, including the smallest village in the world, on condition, and so long as that person has got a telephone, has got a smartphone, has got a handheld device, let's say a smartphone, a wallet on a smartphone. Just like in Kenya, we know very well, we have been using M-Pesa. So whoever has an M-Pesa wallet, and I know Kenyans, you know that very well. Now, if you are subscribing to this big telecommunications company in Kenya, including Safaricom, Airtel, and even some banks, they have electronic wallet, let's say digital cash wallet. Now, the digital cash wallet that you're talking about is going to be keeping cryptocurrency instead of keeping just local fiat currency. And using currency, you use it to buy things at point of payment, point of sale, where the cryptocurrency is so much more important for village level commerce is because when you transact from a village, let us say Witima village where I come from, and you're transacting with someone in another country, say Uganda, and using Ubricoin, you don't pay the international transfer rates, that you have no charges to pay to whether some third parties like the government or the banks. Let's just call all these guys a middlemen who take your money away from you. And that's one important point, that blockchain cryptocurrency that we're talking about, Ubricoin today, is able to remove friction of money transfer between people, particularly if the transfer of money between people is occurring between countries. Okay. Second point is that Ubricoin will act as escrow to protect its members from fraud by eliminating middlemen who usually do not provide value for money. Middlemen. These are people who come and eat your money for no reason at all. You do all the farming, then they come and buy or take your product at that cheap price, and then they go to sell to other people at a huge profit. Bye middlemen. Through blockchain technology, it's possible to create a reward system. That's the third point. A reward system to people, or to reward people who do good in communities. A reward system encourages good behaviors. Let us say we have a teacher who is the best teacher in the country, or maybe in that village, not in the country, the best teacher in the village. Usually, the best teachers are least rewarded, as we have seen in our governance system. The most corrupt people are the ones who receive the highest reward. Then blockchain is able to turn that on its head to say that the most the most brilliant people, the people who provide the best service, the service of the best quality, are the ones who are going to be receiving the reward from blockchain. And how does it work? We build on Ubricoin a smart reward system that helps people in the community to appreciate and to give points to people who are doing the best job. Suppose you have a teacher in school, a very humble teacher. He comes to school every day and teaches her students every very well. Then you have another teacher who doesn't come to school but is a big shot teacher because he knows some big shot people. And the big shot teacher, eventually, because highly connected to some political enterprise, is always having money, actually gets paid. Then the teacher who is a humble person never gets rewarded because he doesn't know big people. That is in the past. The humble teacher who comes to school and teaches students, the students love him or her because she is always on time. That teacher will be rewarded by the community of Ubricans. So Ubricans want people who are in school. Let's say we start from high school, and we have created a reward system that involves giving rewards to the best teacher who comes to school and teaches her students to the best, let's say, a teacher who attends class without fail, unless the teacher was unwell. The quality of teaching, the teacher who teaches their students well. We're talking about the teacher who engages students in practical work. That's a very important point because a lot of teachers come to class and just talk a lot of blah blah blah, this that the other theoretical stuff from the textbook, but they do add any practical value. They don't take their teachers out of the classroom to show them what is going on just outside the classroom. Let's say if a teacher, let's say a biology teacher, walked out of the classroom with a group of students and went to a shamba, let's say this went just even want to look at plants and leaves, that teacher will that teacher will be showing students what to look for in plants. We know, for example, that plants manifest different symptoms based on what they have in the soil. It is very easy for a teacher to work out with students from classroom and demonstrate different types of nutritional deficiencies in plants by looking at the leaves. Leaves that have got nitrogen deficiency, easily explainable. Leaves that have got potassium deficiency, magnesium deficiency, phosphorus deficiency. Such a teacher, you see, walking out of the classroom and going to show students the class, students different type of plants and what plants are suffering from, is not hard work. We don't have to have such teachers nowadays. We want to use Ubricoin to reward teachers who teach students knowledge, to be observant, things that they see on everyday life. We want to use Ubricoin also for to financial transactions, like teachers who are encouraging their students and their families of students locally, mainly on Sako Janja, rewarded primary school reward program. Then we have the high school teach rewards teachers, high school students, high school teachers for attendance to class, the quality of engaging students in practical work, just as you said. On top of that, we also want to reward students, teachers for the number of students qualifying to go to university. So in the high school teachers reward program, we shall look at, and when you say we're putting in some computer program, so the computer will able to pick out teachers who have the highest number of students qualifying to go to university. So if you're a teacher and your work is just to be lazying around, you're just lazy about, and your students never go to university, they all fail, you get disrewarded, you get punished by the system. And the system is a computer system because the computer can tell you're a bad teacher. A good teacher, the computer will tell by calculating the number of students that have qualified from your class to go to university. We also use Ubricoin for financial transactions within high schools and also the high school location to to see that people are buying in that high school um, environments. People are buying stuff from Soko Janja. That means that if the high school is encouraging local people to produce and sell things, then and the teacher who is involved in that, she gets rewarded, and the school itself also received rewards. The third reward project is on University Teachers Reward Program, that is UTRP, that's what we call it, University Teachers Reward Program. We know university teachers are the worst in Kenya. They are the most notorious and totally abhorrent. They are bad people because we have people universities, we have 60 in Kenya. They're not teaching students any practical knowledge. That's bad. And they need to be punished. Instead of getting punished, what are they doing? They're going on strike and trying to force the government to do stuff. However, these are people who have received a lot of support from the community in Kenya and other African countries so that they can be professors and that's not to say the hard work did not contribute. But many of them do not attend class, they don't teach students. Okay. And if those who attend class, the quality of teaching is very poor, and many of them do not engage students in practical work, and many of them don't care where the students go to work or whether they get employed at all. Nearly all of them never follow up with their former students to discover their potentials in professional life. Now, those are the kind of teachers or professors we don't want. And we are building a Ubricoin system to help root out such people so that we can reward people, teachers who actually attend class. Attendance is everything. John Wayne said many years ago that showing up, let's say showing up is 99% of success, or success is 99% of showing up. A professor who doesn't show up to class is equals to zero. A university lecturer who doesn't show up to class is equal to zero, because being there matters a lot. Being there also matters even more if being there is coupled with high quality education, that you're bringing high quality training. So it's not just to be called professor, but a professor who knows his stuff and he can provide quality and takes the students out of classroom and giving them practical experiences, whether it's in business world, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's medicine, pharmaceutical science, manufacturing, everything. Just taking the students with you as a professor and taking them to the labs, to the shambas, to see how roads are built, it gives them a lot of confidence. And that each time you go out with your students, you get new points. And when you get new points, those points convert into Ubricoins. And Ubricoins is equal to cash. That's what we are saying, that we can focus on the positive side. Let's not talk about the negative things. Focus on the positive side of life. How do we reward teachers who attend class? Because when a teacher is a professor in university attends class, is giving up other opportunities to go and make money buying and selling land or apartments for sale, like it's happening in Nairobi. We are saying that we want to reward teachers who attend class. If they provide good education to their students, teachers who provide quality teaching, professors, lecturers, and university teachers who engage students in practical work, and professors who help students to graduate, okay, and then they become successfully placed into employment. Make sure that every single one of your students has found a job, and then you get paid for that by the Ubricoin. Making sure that you follow up with your former students to discover their performance in professional life. You get paid for that, and the society should pay you for that because you're doing a good job. Then we encourage you to help students things and post all those things on Soko Janja, and then you get rewarded by Ubricoin. How about research? Ubricoin is designed to support original academic research reward program. So we call that OARP. Now, anyone who writes proposals and a proposal gets accepted by peer review through a peer review process and it's funded, also gets refunded or gets Ubricoin tokens. The professor who publishes work of original research in peer review journals gets rewarded. The professor, or why am I saying professor? It doesn't have to be professor. Anyone who is doing research, let's say anyone who writes proposals that are acceptable by other peers, it's called a peer review process. Anyone who publishes original research doesn't have to be a professor. It's maybe a student, maybe anyone in the community. That will allow our people to get published. Anyone who presents original research in academic meetings or even in business meetings or even professional meetings, anyone who does that, anyone who translates original research into prototypes for the market, and anyone who commercializes those prototypes, and anyone who uses the blockchain for financial transactions, all this stuff gets rewarded. So with our technology team, including is building the reward system for all these things, that we even have a practitioner reward program. The professional reward program involves professional qualities, professional service quality. Say, for example, you're a doctor, and as a doctor, you provide the best service, that you make the least mistake, you're paying attention to your patient. You get paid by the community for that. And so the questions that are going to be coming along is, how do we get paid for all these things? A professional, like an architect or an engineer, who engages or goes to attend continuing professional development programs, is a professional who is interested in advancing or developing his career. This professor or this professional gets rewarded using Ubricoins. Anyone or professional, any professional who gets their practice research proposal accepted by peer review. Say, for instance, you are a manager who is writing managerial papers, and then you want to submit them to peer review journals, and it gets accepted. You get rewarded for that. You get paid with your Ubricoins. And if the work gets published in peer review journal as well, you get paid in your Ubricoins. So then people who have do presentation of original research in professional conferences, translation of original research into prototypes for the market, and commercialization of the prototypes. All that is a good bounty. You get paid a lot of money. And then we have organizational reward program. That is, if you're working, the organization says like Ubrica itself, providing great service, professional service quality of Ubrica itself. If you work in a hospital, The hospital itself will receive rewards for the hospital service quality. Say even working with police department, then if you're working for the government itself, you're working for the military, everyone is eligible to receive service quality awards, and we call them organization. And you can see this is how we're able to dismantle the corruption that we have in many countries by focusing on rewarding organizations that are providing the best service quality. And then you have consumer program itself, consumer reward program. And consumers, let's say for example, because you're in life science and healthcare, consumers who are very conscientious about their health, and we have building a reward program for people who have maintained good health. They eat well, they live a good lifestyle that is not likely to result in diseases, but instead is likely to prevent diseases from happening. Such people will receive good service quality. So we have seeing a lot of friends, Kelvin Committee, talking about token reward program to improve quality, and I'm looking at, let's see quickly. Mhm. Yeah, King Solomon, and we have some Joyce Rory is right there in Seattle. Hi Joyce. Mhm. Welcome to Ubricoin. I'm looking at the chat here to see what's going on so that we can make sure that we are all on board on the same page. Hmm? I see that Peter Kirby ICT team is online. I see Kiara Kangede there, very good. Kiara Kangede and the legal service online, and Leila Kwadi, oh yeah. King Solomon, that's King Jewish Solomon himself. Samuel Wanyoike, finally happening. Hey, by the way, everybody, Samuel Wanyoike and others have been totally responsible for developing Ubricoin blockchain. Sarawaro Hill. Mm-hmm. Sarawaro Hill. Yes. Go Ubricoin. We're all finally here. We have 16 people online watching. That is fantastic. Now, if you have questions, I know that on this YouTube channel you're not able to ask questions, but we're really excited to have you, everyone here. If you have questions, type questions on the chat line on the right side, and Jordan Mudemba. Woohoo, yet Jordan. Jordan is also involved very closely involved in the blockchain. The rest of the blockchain team, let's say Jordan, they're leading the process, leading the pack, which is totally awesome. Hmm? I think what I was saying today is a big day for all of us to build this technology. We have been reading about blockchain technology in Africa. It hasn't caught up. We hope that we can connect with the rest of the blockchain community in the world. And Samuel Nyoke says that the ultimate reward will be achieving universal health. Invest in our token. And I can tell you, Samuel, that with all the good people here working and all the people buying into Ubricoin, we shall definitely achieve universal health. Definitely achieve universal health. Actually, all listeners, people online, universal health is not difficult to achieve. There's a lot of money in the world, but as you have seen recently in Kenyan press, a lot of that money is stolen. It goes away with some individuals. But if that money was to be distributed to everyone in the republic, then the money is enough to pay for healthcare. We did some serious actuarial studies, in 2017 and 2016 and 2015, and we found that if every Kenyan, and we're not talking about every Kenyan, every family, every single family in Kenya, and we have 14 million families in Kenya. We're not many, 14 million families. If each one of those families were to set aside 300 shillings. For those who don't know what Kenya shilling is, because you haven't lived in this country, Kenya shilling is equivalent to almost 100. 100 Kenya shillings is equivalent to almost $1. 100 Kenya shillings equal to $1. Well, one Kenya shilling, let's say 50 Kenya shillings, will be equivalent to one Ubricoin beginning tomorrow. So we're saying, if from our actuarial studies, if we put aside $3, okay, or six Ubricoins per member per month in a family, we shall fund universal health. We shall be able to achieve universal health in Kenya. It is not expensive, it's as simple as that. Every one of us will have access to. I want to thank Ruth Wateto. We can see you, Emma Wema, watching from Boston, Massachusetts, United States of America. Isn't it amazing that we're able to be together on a channel like this? For those in United States, those in Kenya, and those in other parts of the world, to celebrate a major achievement. We feel that Ubricoin itself is a major milestone for the Ubrica project, because it unites us all over the world to address a very fundamental question, like what is health and how do we produce health for everyone of us. And I was giving an example in Kenya. We found that with only $3 per family per month, if every family put $3 into a health fund, have universal health access. We have enough money. So we calculated, say for example, in a county like Nyandarua in Kenya, Nyandarua has got 300,000 families. If 300,000 families in Nyandarua contributed $3 per month, we would have $900,000. And ladies and gentlemen, $900,000 is equal to 900,000 times 100 is $30 million. And those $1 million are enough to pay for the best health care quality, the best health of the highest quality possible for people of Nyandarua. So what we are saying is that Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. We are in Africa, and these kind of things happen. And I don't know if we're online anymore because I cannot see my image. Let's see if we can get back. We lost power there for a minute, and camera off. What's happening? But I don't even know whether we're recording. But what we can do is stop this and we restart it again. Thank you so much for those who are there listening. And let's if you can you hear Kevin Kameti has just said yeah, okay, and oh yeah, you're back. Well, I'm very sorry. We got we got knocked out by the temperature, but the video itself is blank. There is no video. Can you see video? Say yes if you can see video. Mhm. Oh, I cannot see video because I don't know what's happening. I don't know whether it's streaming. Let us look at this because it's also important we do this again and again in the future. Live technical settings, default microphone, yes, voice, save. I have no idea. Well, point. We're doing okay. And yeah, what we shall do, we shall hang up now so we can take. It's interesting as you think the video is quite clear, but I cannot see anything. So I was thinking that we are probably needs to refresh. And sure enough, I just refreshed the page, and what happened? I came back, so the video just required a refreshing. Well, uh, refreshing. Well, so what we are saying is this: that we can achieve universal health coverage, and we shall achieve by helping everyone get onto the market. What we found out, and I want to introduce briefly the Soko Janja project. Soko Janja is the primary mechanism through which we shall achieve universal health coverage. For those of you who've been following Soko Janja, it is an online retail store which we are building in earnest to help bring the village level commerce into the cyberspace. And for Soko Janja, and that's where the private sale begins tonight, the goal is to sell 1 billion UBNs or Ubricoins to raise funds to develop Sokojanja. And Sokojanja needs money to take to build out the commerce system from the village all the way to the world. Let us say you are growing vegetables in an African village. If you only have 2 acres of land, and most likely the amount of land on vegetables is maybe a quarter of that piece of land because you have rabbits, you have cows, you have chicken, you have so many things like we all do. We never paid attention to Adam Smith, who talked about specialization. But then all these things you produce, you're not able to take them to the market because one, they're too many, they take a lot of your effort and energy, and you're just by yourself. And second, you don't have access to market. There are brokers who come and buy you a few things and then they pay you that cheap price, and so you don't have enough money. And so the production in the African countryside is very, very low. Then, because you don't have enough money, you cannot feed your soil well, so the soil goes into nutritional deficiency. You cannot even feed your chicken well, so your chickens are malnourished. You cannot feed your cows well, so your cows are malnourished. So neither have you got good plants, nor have good livestock. And that explains a market disequilibrium that's happening in Kenya. I speak about Kenya in particular, but I think this is also happening in many other parts of the world. That we have some restaurant owners in Kenya who will not buy Kenyan potatoes. Have you heard of that? Do we have fruits, juice packing companies buy Kenyan fruits? So the restaurant owners buy potatoes from other countries. They cannot go to Nyandarua to get potatoes there. So one day I met those guys and asked them, why don't you buy potatoes from people of Nyandarua? They told me that potatoes from people of Nyandarua are very low quality. What in the world? How can a potato be of low quality? A potato is a potato. They told me, first of all, those potatoes are small, they look malnourished and all that. Then I said, there has to be a problem. And then I went to Nyandarua and looked at the soil characteristics and the size of the potatoes there. And sure enough, those potatoes do not meet international standards for quality potatoes. Okay. And why this happens is because we don't know that qualities have the potatoes have a standard. Now we have very large fresh produce companies in Kenya that package fresh produce, and they maybe package fresh juice like mango juice, they package orange juice, they package all that other type of juices from plants. It would You would think that they go to Muranga to buy their oranges and mangoes, but shocked to learn that they get those mangoes from other countries like South Africa. Then you have people who sell honey in Kenya. And then you find that that honey doesn't come from the Kenyan communities, it is imported. What you're driving to in this is that the large retailers in Kenya will be selling products from other countries because the products that Kenyan farmer is producing do not meet the standard. Although, what is the funniest part, let's say the paradox, is that the things that these retailers are selling are supposedly of high quality but imported from other countries are being sold to Kenyans themselves. Why would we want as Kenyans to buy things from other countries and don't buy things from our own producers? Why do we want to buy things from potatoes from Egypt? Why do we want to go to the shopping malls in Nairobi and eat potatoes from Egypt when we know that our grandparents live in Nyandarua and they produce potatoes? Well, that is a mental disease that we have to cure. And of course, that type of mental illness is not treated by politics or even shouting and telling Kenyans, Kenyans, you can eat potatoes from your village. Now that you have become well educated and you live in a city, you can insist on buying potatoes from Kenyan villages and you'll be good to go. But then you have a large retailer who brings potatoes from outside the country and gives to you. You say his potatoes are better. Hmm? Then you have someone who brings you honey from distant nations like South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Latin American countries. Honey. We have so much honey in Ukabani. We have so much honey in Molo. We have so much honey in West Pokot. So much honey in Laikipia. But where did you go in a supermarket and found honey from Laikipia, particularly in the upscale supermarket in the upscale neighborhood of Nairobi? When you go there, you will find honey from where? New Zealand. And the honey from New Zealand is sold at 1,000 or even 2,000, let's say 100 times more, or even 200 times, up to 300 times more than the honey that's coming from very distant location. Guess what happens? When we do that, we have in our marketplace flooded by foreign goods, and all these foreign goods are being sold to us at exorbitant price. And the locally produced goods cannot find market. So local producers end up in a marketplace known commonly in Kenya, in every town, in every neighborhood, So Mjinga, for those of you who don't know what is Ujinga, is stupidity. And we're saying that our local producers engage in stupid commerce. Soko ya Ujinga, Soko Mjinga. And that is stupid because we totally embrace the principles of stupidity is the guiding principle for governing our commerce in this country. And 90% of Kenyans are engaged in Ujinga business, and it's called Sokomjinga, and that's how we take our things. I'm not even saying this is a derogative term, it's something accepted. Sokomjinga is in Nairobi, it's in Nyandarua, it's in Nanyuki, it's in every county. There is no county in this country that doesn't have Sokomjinga, and Sokomjinga, or the Soko of stupid people, is the Soko, or the market for stupid people, is the market, the only market available for our people. When we are saying that let us do away with that foolishness and stupidity, and we build a new culture of smartness, and we create smart markets, and we call those smart markets Soko Janja. Soko Janja build on blockchain technology that has a basic principle of reward, that if you bought something on Soko Janja that is made by your neighbor, you get rewarded. Okay? If you bought things that are made by your neighbor, or you made by someone in your village, or made by someone your area code, then you receive Ubrica token, you receive Janja tokens, you receive you, you receive, let's say, token rewards on Ubricoin. And that is so easy to program. So in order for that system to work, we have to have you, yourself, as maybe an elite from your village or someone who lives in the village. You first of all register and help us to register everyone that you know, your cousins, your relatives, your brothers and sisters. Let us put everyone on Sokojanja. And when everyone is on Sokojanja, then they can list every things that they have that they want to sell. We believe that there is no one in this country who have something that they can sell, something that has got craft work that can be sold, whether you produce pineapples in Thika, or you're producing mangoes from Oranga, or you're producing Morubaini, let us say Mukilifi, if you're from Kilifi. All that stuff has got market value, and all you have to do is take picture of what you have, and then we load it on Sokojanja. When everyone is on Sokojanja, then we're able to sell everything to each other. That is where the money comes from. And when you sell something on Sokojanja and the money is flowing through there and it's denominated in Ubricoin, then you can have access to healthcare. As we said, you need only 600 Ubricoins per month for your family to gain access to medical care that is possible. 100 Ubricoins. So if you traded, this was worth of 30 coin per month, 600 Ubricoins are available for you to pay for medical care. So our biggest project is to go into the communities and make sure that everyone in the community knows about Sokojanja, and then they can release their products on Sokojanja so they can be sold. Service, education, and all that. List those services on Sokojanja, and then they can sell their products, because it is impossible to if you don't sell something, money comes from selling what you produce. And that act of selling what you produce is what is known as market. It turns out that in Kenya, market is a big problem in most African countries. People do not have access to market. And when people don't have access to market, they cannot sell what they produce. And when people cannot sell what they produce, they don't have money. And when people don't have money, open by all kinds of things, including viruses, bacteria, protozoans, parasites, you name it, fungi. It's going to attack those people. Even environmental hazards, dirty water, lack of access to medical care. They can go to the clinic because they don't have money to pay for transportation to go to the clinic. Unless we solve that problem, universal health coverage. So it turns out that universal health coverage is a function of having money. And that's why we built Sokojanja to solve that. We have to build incentive structure to enable people to gain access to the market, to get interested in the market, and to reward people who are buying things that are produced in a neighborhood. For example, now, in our program, we're creating an incentive structure that rewards you when you buy something, that rewards you when you buy something that is produced or sold by your neighbor on condition that that thing is produced locally. How are we able to know? During our registration process, we register people and their products. We register them for their locations, and you get a unique address. That address tells us where you are, what you're producing, what materials you use, and where it comes from. It's not just telling us what it does to tell the computer. So the computer becomes clever and is able to compute all that stuff and say, this is produced locally, and because it's produced locally, then if you buy that local product, you get rewarded, you receive new coins, Ubricoins. And what this program is known as in blockchain speak is proof of stake. That if you show or you're known to be buying things locally, which your neighbors can vouch for you, that you're only buying locally produced things. And that's why our slogan for Sokojanja is Buy African, Build Healthy Africa. Okay, I'm going to pause there for a few minutes, maybe continue a call for talking, and take a break for 45 minutes until the turn on the hour. And if you have questions, you're on chat line, keep chatting, and we shall talk. Let us turn this off for a minute, and we'll be back online in 45 minutes. Thank you. So I'm trying to see how you broadcast.